Then I remembered the Wheeling Hospital Urgent Care, right in downtown Wheeling at the Stone Center on Market Plaza. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, the center is ideal if you have a sudden sickness or injury. The doctors and nurses were great, and they also provided x-rays, a pharmacy, and lab draw station. No appointments needed, and convenient parking is nearby. Wheeling Hospital Urgent Care. They'll take good care of you.
Have a festive adventure at Wheeling's Historic Center Market. Discover a unique mix of specialty shops and quality eateries. Hunt for the perfect gift or gift card at Center Market. Find everything from art, antiques, coffees, wine and craft beers, cigars and fine olive oils, to fresh seafood, local honey, jewelry, vintage decor, toys, and clothing. Meet friends and explore this iconic holiday shopping destination. Experience Wheeling's Historic Center Market.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the watchdog trusts.
Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 want to thank the owners and contractors of the Ohio Valley for using their locally trained workers to help build for the future. Local 83 helps design, fabricate, and build the gas infrastructure for the oil and gas industry here in the Ohio Valley. Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 is 300 members strong and growing. They also do residential, commercial, and industrial work on both sides of the river. For more information, call Plumbers and Steam Fitters Local 83 at 304-233-4445.
Save big during the Black Friday sales event at Thomas Auto Centers. Choose from over 80 in-stock certified pre-owned Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. Get a 2017 Grand Cherokee Limited, 25,000 miles, sunroof, and leather heated seats, just $29,900. Or a 2019 Cherokee Latitude Plus, only 19,000 miles and local trade-in, just $25,228 at Thomas Auto Centers.
Check the best deal. Thomas Auto Centers.
Ball Road, St. Clairsville.
Throughout the Ohio Valley, back to school is looking different. Each day, parents, teachers, students, coaches, and administrators are finding solutions to situations that are unprecedented. All of us at the Highlands appreciate everything you are doing and are here for the items you need. Visit hitthehighlands.com for the current guidelines and updated contact information of our retailers and restaurants.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Monday. Look for mostly cloudy skies, cooler temps, a daytime high near 44, overnight low of 32 under mostly cloudy skies. Clouds and limited sunshine for your Tuesday with highs in the mid-40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
Good morning.
Sleep well?
How was your weekend?
Not long enough. Seriously, today it felt like waking up with a hangover, then realizing you're still at the bar.
We want you back.
You ready to go back to work?
Pass. I might need a little bit more time, huh?
How much time do you need?
Monday morning, I'll be good as new.
Well, that's today.
Wow, really? It's Monday already?
Guess we better get to work.
Let's do this.
All right, it's showtime.
This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe and Brad Leonard behind the board in the producer's chair.
Here's what we have been talking about, will be talking about as we continue along on our Monday edition of The Big Gig. Can the Super Six really be super if the best teams can't play in it? Biff and I had some good discussion about that. I'll put that discussion of the two of us up on our Facebook podcast page, on Facebook, on our website podcast page a little bit later on this morning, but we can continue to talk about it if you'd like to. Can the Super Six really be super if the best teams can't play? Williamstown and Wheeling Central, for example, didn't even get to play this year, even though they have been continually successful champions in single A for year after year after year after year. Is it really a Super Six when half the folks who there didn't get there by playing in, but simply by forfeiting in? Your thoughts, if you'd like to, at 304-214-1600. The COVID vaccine is coming quickly, apparently. By the first of the year at the latest, some folks will begin to get it, and by springtime, probably everybody has a chance to get it. Who should get it first? Will you take the vaccine when it's available? I'd like your take on that. And we talked earlier with Wheeling Hospital's Dr. Clark Milton to discuss the vaccine. Let's see. Local schools are in their pre-Thanksgiving week of remote learning again because we're all in at worst red, at best orange in the entire northern panhandle. Trump's legal team continues to be cut off in their efforts to overturn the election as a Pennsylvania court witheringly rejects their claim. Mountain State Supreme Court kicks Governor Justice's residency case back to the lower court and sets some really broad parameters on what it means to reside in the state capital. If we can't engage in our usual Thanksgiving traditions this Thanksgiving because of COVID, what are some new ones that we're creating? Got to look at some things some people are doing to try and make this as special a day as possible, even if they can't get over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house. And I try to avoid politics all weekend long. I ranted about this a good bit late last week on Friday in particular. I'm just so frustrated with the perpetual divisiveness and anger and so on that's shown and stupidity from some cases on Facebook. So I convinced myself not to look at the political posts, not to comment at all on any of them, stay away from the COVID controversies and so on. But I just still checked some things on Facebook. And when I did, they snuck a little angry thing in at me. I'll talk about that coming up in just a minute. And it's going to be an overcast and gray day today. Weather-wise, look for Vaczac over the Big 7 says, just curl up on the sofa, get a big blanket and wrap yourself up and cuddle in today and don't worry about it because it's just going to be that kind of day. Daytime high 43 right now. Still looking at, let me double check, still looking at 36 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. 36 feels like 29 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. Here in my home studios in Elm Grove and at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Biff, I said I tried really hard. I really tried hard just not to get my blood pressure up this weekend, not to get myself all frustrated about Facebook and other social media accounts. I purposely, anytime I see a political post pop up, I just ignored it. I moved on to other things. But I didn't keep myself from Facebook. So I thought this was safe. I thought this was safe. Ohio Valley Road Report, one of the fine Facebook groups that's out there that keeps track of road conditions and so on. I see on Ohio Valley Road Report, someone says, big traffic jam in North Wheeling, what's going on? Okay, it's a traffic issue. It's a traffic issue, for God's sake. So I was curious, so I took a look at it. And in order to get a response to the what's going on, I had to read the various comments and so on. Well, actually, what it was Reverend Cummings' Thanksgiving basket giveaway, which, by the way, was more than successful, was overly successful. According to Reverend Cummings, over 1,000 people were helped this weekend. Close to 300 cars with multiple families inside received their Thanksgiving baskets. Over 80 bicycles were given away. Numerous winter coats and other items, all done at the Thanksgiving giveaway that Reverend Cummings had. So that was a very positive thing. It's a positive thing. And then I realized what was happening. Well, 300 cars, yeah, there was going to be some traffic in North Wheeling, right?
Yeah, that's to be expected.
Right. So I'm saying to myself, hey, okay, that's big. Okay, I was curious what the traffic tie-up was. Oh, it's good news. It's good news. No. People can't leave it alone. People can't leave it alone. Facebook post. Yes, they do. Churches do this all over the country, and it's a joke. I, like many working people, pay my own way, but I have to be careful. I drive a used car, not a nice one. Go to the church parking lot, so they're giving out free food. I see newer $30,000 or $40,000 vehicles. Poor people who need food handouts should be driving 20-year-old Fords and Chevys. God help me. You can't even say Congratulations to a guy who's sharing Christian love and helping the poor. You can't even do that. You got to make it politics. Poor people who need food handouts should be driving 20-year-old Fords and Chevys. Reverend Cummings himself talked about this with us last Friday. He said, look, they don't look at what car people are driving. Somebody may have borrowed somebody's car. Somebody may have a new car, but since they bought the new car, have lost a lot of, lost their job or what have you. They just want to help people. They just want to help people. Another person makes it political. Dang. Guess Biden's already starting to give away his free stuff. Oh, God. Oh, God. And then this one. I know of people getting the federal $600 even though they weren't even employed. I'll finish the post in a minute, but let me just stop right there. That's the way it was set up. Everybody got the money. Everybody got the money. Now, I don't actually think that's a good idea. I think it should have been more needs-based. I think that COVID relief bill should have been more directed specifically to small businesses and individuals who lost income or lost, business because of COVID. But that's not the way they set it up. Trump wanted to make sure that everybody felt like they were getting gimmies from him. He was the one to give things away. So, yes, it is true. Many people got the federal $600, even though they weren't even employed. In fact, everybody got it. In fact, the IRS put a reminder out last week that if you have not yet received your federal check, your stimulus check from months and months and months ago, and they said primarily people may have been those who weren't employed or those who didn't actually have income last year, but still were going to get these checks. The deadline for that is running out. So anyways, back to the post. So first of all, yes, I know of many cases people getting the federal $600 even though they're not even employed. And people getting the $1,200 when they were already getting their pension and their disability checks. It's all fraud. It's all abuse. No, that's the way they set it up. Now, again, I will agree. I don't think it was the best way to set it up, but it's the way they set it up. It's not fraud or abuse. The $1,200 had no bear. Listen, my wife and I got $2,400 between the two of us. I know how to say this without sounding. I don't need the money. I liked the money, but I don't need the money. $2,400 came in. We do have a pension. We do have income. We do have investments. So but that's the way it was set up. That's the way it was set up. It's not fraud and abuse. The Post goes on to say, now look, the minute they get in office, the Democrats want to bail out every one of their buddies, with $3 or $4 trillion more instead of actually helping the ones who need it. Again, I don't even want to make it political, but I have to here. It was a Republican Senate that went along with this, and Republican President Trump who signed off on that stimulus bill. I don't actually agree with it. I really don't actually agree with it. I do think it should have been more targeted. We talked to Senator Manchin about this months ago. I think Senator Manchin felt the same way, that really it would have been smarter to target that relief to those directly affected by COVID. But it's not the bill they did. It, A, is not fraud or abuse. It's actually using the system the way it was supposed to be used. And B, it's not something the Democrats are doing, as the Republicans have done it. And all of this came from just trying to look up a traffic alert on Ohio Valley Road Report. You can't get away from it, Biff. It's everywhere.
Well, and if you remember, to go back to Reverend Cummings when he was in here with us and talking about the people and everything, I believe he mentioned, he said, we're not going to worry about it. He goes, they can worry about that when they go see the big guy in the sky. That's between them. That's between them and him. So I give him credit for that.
He's had this, and the good Rev gets used to this, I'm sure, over the years, because he has had this complaint before. Well, you just give stuff to people who don't need it, and he says, yeah, it could be. Might be. It is possible. But I'd rather give it to people who don't need it than somehow make people who are embarrassed not want to come because we want to insist on some kind of income reporting or what have you. But the point, my point of all this is not that this argument goes on because it's gone on before. My point is, I was trying to avoid politics. I was trying to avoid the anger. I thought to myself, for God's sake, how can there be anything controversial about traffic tie-up in North Wheeling? What's going on? How can that turn into a political discussion? And then, just like right now, my blood pressure began to go up. And then I posted, now this was my post and I did expect some feedback on it. When the map came out on Saturday, and the entire panhandle is now on remote learning because Marshall County is in red. Other than that, I believe from Tyler County clear on up to and through Hancock County, everybody is orange. So it's on remote learning this week. And I simply made a point that I've made here before, and I expect this to be somewhat controversial. Kids are on remote learning already this week. Wednesday or Thursday, depending on what school district you go to, begin Thanksgiving break, a couple of days, already scheduled Thanksgiving break. And then the governor's already said the week after that is a week off because he wants to have a sort of a COVID pause. And then the kids will go back for, a couple of weeks, about 2.5 weeks, maybe a little less than that. And then they go begin their Christmas break. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be smarter just to say right now, we're just going to leave the schools on remote until January. We're not going to try and bring kids back. And that way parents have a chance to make longer, not long range, but at least longer range plans. At least they would know this past weekend they were going to have their kids home for the entire next 3 or 4 weeks or whatever that total period of time is. To me, that makes sense. I get that not everybody agrees. And you don't have to agree, but gee, many Christmas. Do you have to be so nasty about it? I got a text from actually one of our friends. That's a bunch of BS. He didn't say BS. He said the X. That's a bunch of BS. It's terrible. This is terrible. And don't bother to give me a reply, Monroe. Whoa, okay, all right. And then here's a woman who said in that little trend here, my 2 kids are doing horrible right now, and they're smart kids. My kids are not remote learners. They need to be in a classroom setting. They're teaching themselves. Teachers are not in the live lessons the way they're supposed to be. Emails are going unanswered. I am over this. I have work to do. I'm keeping essential parents employed in my business. So I have kids all day long. When I come home, I have to deal with my own kids. I just can't pick a grade subject and stick to this like normal teachers. They need to be in school, capital letters, exclamation point. I want you to note here that particular person, it was all about her. It was all about her. She's over it. It's tough on her. She can't take it. She's not prepared. Ship those kids back off to the teachers. They're the ones supposed to take care of this to begin with. I understand there's an honest disagreement when I say that we should be off all the way to the end of the year, but to me it makes so much logical sense. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't create problems for parents, but at least it means the parents know the problems ahead of time. They know that, we're going to have our kids home from now till January 1 at least. So let's make plans. Do you have to get someone to come in? Do you have to ask grandma or granddad to help out? Do you have to hire somebody to do it? Do you have to adjust your own schedule? Do you have to take off work? Isn't it better to know ahead of time that you have to do that than to wait until a day before and suddenly say, as we did, by the way, this weekend. So Saturday night, parents have to scramble again because every school in the Panhandle is on remote learning. So isn't it better to just go ahead and plan for it now? It may be a really difficult thing to do, but isn't it better to do it ahead of time, to know ahead of time you have to make these hard decisions, and do it now? But it's not the disagreement that bugs me, Biff. It's the anger that comes through in it. Just the anger that comes through in it. Gee, many Christmas. And I tried my best not to get sucked into any of this kind of stuff. By the way, the person who said, don't answer me either, I wrote a long response, and then I stopped and said, whoop, never mind. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to reply. I'm just going to walk away. But I just have to comment on it. You can't get away from it. Especially the traffic thing. A traffic alert, for God's sake.
Out of all the things.
A traffic alert that turns out, a traffic alert that turns out to be because of a really positive thing happening in North Wheeling. Underprivileged folks and folks in need are being helped out. And son of a gun, it's got to become political and negative. Arrgh. And I'm also angry at myself right now, Biff. I made a gigantic ooh-ooh during the news break.
Yeah?
I was checking Facebook, and I looked at all my various and sundry friend requests, and yes, yet again, there was this interesting woman with large bazooms who wanted to be a friend of mine. And normally what I do when they show up on my You Have a Friend request list is I punch the button to actually take a look at that person, just to make sure that what I think it is, that I think it's a scam. I think it's someone trying to get me to, they usually say things like, if you would like me to send naked pictures, click this link. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But I usually will try to take a look at the page just to make sure it isn't somebody that really might want to be a legitimate friend. And of course, as you all know, if you have Facebook, it gives you two options: confirm or delete. Right? I went to push the button for look out the page.
Oh no!
I hit confirm.
Oh no!
I hit confirm. I hit confirm.
Oh boy!
And then you get that note that says, send Hotsy Totsy a wave. I don't want to wave to her. I don't want anything to know. So I had to quickly run and try and find how do you, I blocked her. I think there's a way to unfriend. I haven't even done that, but I blocked her so nothing comes through and she can't send me it. It was just a mistake. But I bet you that's somehow going to come back to haunt me. Somehow that's going to go in there's somewhere out there in Facebook land, there's some kind of a tracker of people who actually fall for this stuff and they send them more. I'm just so afraid that's going to happen. And I hit the wrong darn button. Should have been the delete. No, it wasn't. I wasn't going to either confirm or delete. I was trying to take a look at the page, hit the picture, and see what the page was. And my fat finger, hit confirm. Oh, God. And that's just going to cause me more trouble. I can feel it coming. All right, 9:30 in the morning of the Watchdog Morning Show. My lovely wife. Last night, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Teddy called us down to his house, and he was so excited because my son and daughter-in-law and Teddy put up their Christmas tree and their Christmas decorations in the house, and he was so excited. He was bouncing off the wall, literally bouncing off the walls, jumping up and down and bouncing off the wall. Granddad, look at this and look at this. And look at my tree, and look at the decorations, and look at the train under my tree. And I've got a pickle on my tree. Granddad, look at this. Isn't this funny? He was so happy and so excited. So we went down to do it. And my daughter-in-law says to me, do you want something to drink? And I said, yeah, I'm thirsty. And she said, well, I've got blah, 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 blah. And I've got some hot cocoa. Whoa, hot cocoa. That sounds like the perfect thing to be looking at a Christmas tree. So she made me a cup of hot cocoa last night, and it was so good. I hadn't had hot chocolate for a while. So this morning I asked my wife if she could possibly make me a cup of hot cocoa, which she did, and which I am drinking now. And on a gray and overcast and miserable day, nothing like a good cup of hot cocoa. There's only one thing this is missing. You know what it is, Biff?
Alcohol.
No. It's a great, no.
Marshmallows. Yep.
Hot chocolate and marshmallows. But I have no marshmallows, but nonetheless, it's really good. All right, news break. Home stretch after that. Got a few odds and ends I want to get to, including some talk about Thanksgiving. If we have a chance, we're to talk about the governor's residency requirements in West Virginia. Supreme Court in West Virginia ruled somewhat. They didn't rule on it. They sent the case back to the lower court, but with some guidelines on residency, which were not particularly good for the governor. If I have a chance, I'll talk about it today. I asked Isaac Sponogel, who brought this case, to come on and join us this morning, and he got back to me this morning and said, actually, I'm on top of a mountain hunting this morning. So we may ask Isaac to join us tomorrow, I don't know, but I figure I'll leave him to his hunting activities right now. And I'll leave you to listen to the news right now on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The Metro News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
All right, back in a minute, Biffy. Before Thanksgiving. It's the day after that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's like, so it's this day, and then that tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
Hang on, Biff. I'll be there in a minute. Okay, I'm back.
Associates sells the earth and everything on it.
Oh, there's something so real about living local. And I know without a doubt I'm not alone. And I love living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I love living local. WTRF is working for me. The Ohio Valley is where I love to be.
Throughout the Ohio Valley, back to school is looking different. Each day, parents, teachers, students, coaches, and administrators are finding solutions to situations that are unprecedented. All of us at the Highlands appreciate everything you are doing and are here for the items you need. Visit hitthehighlands.com for the current guidelines and updated contact information of our retailers and restaurants.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Monday. Look for mostly cloudy skies, cooler temps, a daytime high near 44, overnight low of 32 under mostly cloudy skies. Clouds and limited sunshine for your Tuesday with highs in the mid-40s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
Hi, this is Shauna Johnson from Metro News, just one of the contributors to the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe. Listen and stay informed every weekday right here.
You can now watch the Legislative Watchdogs every Wednesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. on Facebook Live. Talk radio taken to the next level. Only on the Watchdog. Give us a call and tell us what you're thinking. Locally, 304-214-1600. Out of the area, toll free, 866-514-1600 or 304-232-TALK.
Miss a part of the show? Want to hear a segment again? Check out our podcast page at watchdognetwork.com. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
36 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport. The feels-like temperature of 30 degrees. 36 at my home studios in Elm Grove and 36 at the Robinson Auditorium Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. If you want to text me, 304-214-1600. A couple of lingering texts from earlier in the morning I didn't get to. I want to at least share them with you. We were talking about the recount that President Trump is insisting on in as many states as he possibly can. Losing badly in courts, but he has paid for a recount in, I think it's Michigan, Minnesota. I forget. He's paid for a recount today. So they're going to recount votes there, paid for by the president. Off the text line, Howard, just think how much good all that money they're spending on recounts could do elsewhere in the country. That certainly is true. I would agree with that. I said earlier when we had Dr. Milton on with us that it seems to me in the beginning of COVID, it was something out there, far away, even though it was happening locally. You know, we would get the reports of cases here locally, but they were, strangers basically, people we didn't know. Every once in a while, I remember the first time someone I knew had died from COVID, and just came across as a statistic. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I know that person. Now almost everybody knows it. Knows some people. Although I got a text here, Howard, I live in Dillonvale, and I don't know anybody who's got COVID. Okay. Well, that's because you got a good preacher up there. I preach it away.
Was that you? I was going to say, is that you? Is that why?
I preach it away. All right. Thanks for that text. Let's see. What else here? I got one here, Biffy, I can't read. Take a look at the one that begins with a doctor from Wheeling Hospital and tell me if it's something we ought to read or not. I cannot read that one here on my screen.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you, because I was looking at that one earlier, and it just has the first line, and that's all I can see here too. So.
Okay, so I can't read it. The way it works for Biff and I is on our text line, we get sort of a little sidebar that gives. It's like an email or something. The sidebar gives you the first couple of words of the message. and then we have to click it on to open it up to read the message. And every once in a while, for reasons I don't understand, the whole message won't open up. So someone says, so a doctor from Wheeling Hospital, I'm guessing it's a critical comment, I don't know. But I can't read it, so I'm not ignoring you, I literally can't read it, right? If you want to share some text with me, 304-214-1600 is the number to use, 304-214-1600. The text line is open and available for your use. Let me just do one more thing here. Got to make sure I push the right button here. I pushed the confirm button on that big busted woman, and
You still tried to correct that mistake? Is that what we're doing?
No, but when I go to open up this text message, it tells me call them on their cell phone, call them on their FaceTime. I don't want to call this person. I just want to read it, so I want to make sure I push the right button. My fat fingers have gotten me in trouble this morning. No sense in getting any more. 17 to the hour here on the Watchdog Morning Show. I don't know what your plans are for Thanksgiving. Some of you are going to have a relatively traditional Thanksgiving. I think you said you are, Biff. Your family's going to do pretty much what they normally do, right?
Yeah, I don't think we have any plans of nothing too crazy, nothing changing.
But no major changes either, right?
Yeah.
We, of course, as I've said many a time, this is not going to be a typical Thanksgiving for the Monroe family. We usually have a big Thanksgiving dinner with the whole family here. We usually host them here at our house, and just can't do it this year. I cannot risk it. I'm just not going to try. So my wife and I, my son and daughter-in-law, and Teddy will have a dinner here. The rest of my kids will have their dinner at their own houses, and I'm buying their dinner for them. It's the best I can do. But a lot of people are changing things. Whatever your plans are for Thanksgiving, don't count on a shopping expedition this year. A number of major retailers that usually open their doors on Thanksgiving in recent years are going to stay closed this year. Now, they say, well, it's a thank you to our hardworking employees. But I think it's probably because they just feel no need to challenge COVID any more than necessary. Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Macy's, they're all going to be closed on Thanksgiving. And it's always been controversial anyways. I don't have a problem with it personally. If people choose, I hate the idea of people being forced to work on Thanksgiving. But if the people who are asked to work on Thanksgiving in the store are okay to do that, it's fine. People want the money, that's fine. On a traditional Thanksgiving day, people maybe after dinner, maybe after a game or something, then you want to go out and do a little shopping. I don't have a problem with that, but some folks do. It's been controversial. And I'm wondering if, since they're going to stay closed this year for COVID, I wonder if that'll continue, Biffy, if they'll continue to stay closed after this, just to avoid that controversy in years gone by. We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
That might be that might be one of those things that it becomes permanent, like so many other things have after this year. I think are going to be.
Yep, one of these sort of unintended consequences of the COVID and the COVID shutdowns and so on may well be that the stores that have been sort of fighting a little bit to stay open, and there's always some articles written about it and talk show hosts who talk about it and stuff, that they made us decide, this is a good time to call it quits. We just won't be open. We'll go back to the way it used to be and open up at like 2 o'clock in the morning on Black Friday, but won't be open on Thanksgiving. 1/3 of people surveyed say that they believe the pleasure of getting the family together for Thanksgiving is worth the risk of getting or spreading COVID-19. Children's Hospital of Michigan did the poll. The poll's director said parents have a hard time giving up the chance for their children to see their grandparents. Well, the problem is you're putting your grandparents at risk. I am a grandparent. I don't want to be put at risk. I understand if you feel that there's not a problem. If you and your family have been sort of like my oldest son and daughter-in-law and I, Nancy and I and Teddy have been kind of self-quarantined together for this whole thing. If you're comfortable with that group of people, that's fine, the way I'm sure you and your family are, Biff. But, the idea of going over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go, traveling to a big family get together. Just I can't. It's in my mind, it's not worth the risk. And I think if you even say it's worth the risk, there is a risk, and to me that's dangerous. If you don't feel there's a risk, then that's fine. But if you think there's any risk at all, for God's sake, I hate to be the guy who says this, but you see it on Facebook and other places all the time. Do you want to have the family over? Do you want to delay Thanksgiving for this year and have one next year, or do you want to have everybody over this year and run the risk that maybe somebody won't make it through next year? So, but 1/3 of the people surveyed say that they think it's worth the risk of braving COVID to get to grandparents' house. So, because a lot of people are having to change their holiday traditions, both Christmas and Thanksgiving, what are people doing to create maybe new traditions, or how are they filling that gap? As much as we wish all things were normal again, they're not normal again. We're just going to have to look at things a little bit differently, I think. Here's some things that a survey recently found that people are doing to spice up their Thanksgiving in a different way, or their holiday in a different way. This could actually go into Christmas as well. Number 5 is baking a specific recipe as a family. Now, I'm neither a baker nor a cook or anything like that. However, some other members of my family have been doing that. They've been getting together and having, not here at this house, but I mean the extended family, they've been getting together and having little, cooking nights out kind of thing. That's not a bad idea. Number 4, making homemade decorations. I've never really made decorations, but over the years, our Christmas tree is decorated with decorations that my kids made when they were kids. I guess that we actually have a few things on the tree that I made when I was a kid and gave to my parents, and then my kids made and gave to us. And of course, we have some of Teddy's things on the tree. So I'm not a homemade decoration guy, but I would say that 80% of the decorations on our Christmas tree are homemade or are made by the kids, not store bought. By the way, I ran out. Teddy is here with us today doing remote learning, and he's on one of his remote learning breaks right now. So I walked out during the news break, and chatted with him. And of course, he's very excited about the Christmas tree that they put up at their house yesterday. Granddad, yes, Teddy, I think today we should put up the Christmas tree here. Okay. And my wife is saying, well, Teddy, could we wait till after Thanksgiving? No, Grandma, I would like to do it before Thanksgiving. Okay. I have a feeling we'll be getting a Christmas tree out of the basement before too much longer and getting it up. Number 3 on the new things that people are doing this year, having a day where everyone disconnects from all their devices. Oh, boy. I think that's a day I'm going to have. Just say it, no mas.
I think a lot of people will.
I think it's a very wise idea. There's nothing dramatic. If the world does come to an end, you'll hear the sirens, right? I mean,
yep.
Other than that, just at least for a day, for Thanksgiving or for Christmas Day or for a couple of days during the holiday, just turn them off, put them in a drawer, leave them alone. I'm coming more and more to that belief. What I've been doing more, now still on a device because I have to read off of a Kindle because I can't read books anymore as easily, but because of my eyes, because I'm an old man. But I find myself reading more and doom scrolling on Facebook even less. So having a day where everyone disconnects from all their devices. Number 2 on the new holiday traditions, and you've heard me say, I think this to a large extent is silly. I really do. But hey, if you're doing it, I don't mean to criticize you. Having Zoom meals with your extended family. I don't want to eat in front of a computer screen. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm happy to, we FaceTime with some of our other kids and the grandkids. And as I said, we may have a 30-minute Zoom get-together on Christmas Eve at our house, not for dinner. But the idea of sitting down and having a meal, you're eating, and they're eating on their side of the computer, that makes no sense to me. And number one on the new traditions, dropping off surprise presents at people's houses, which we did. For example, one of my granddaughter was Ariana had her birthday yesterday, so we had a bunch of birthday gifts for her. But we literally drove down to their house, had them in the back seat, and she came out and visited us through the window of the car and told her, honey, if you open the back door, there are your birthday gifts back there. Not exactly the best way to do it, but still.
Hey, at least you found a way.
Yeah, exactly. And what she did was she took the gifts when we were there, took them inside, and then later in the evening she FaceTimed us when she opened the gifts we gave her. So, I mean, there are ways to do that. That's good. Anyway, that's my new survey that is out. Thought you might find that kind of interesting. 45% of people are looking forward to not having to answer personal questions at their Thanksgiving dinner. So that's part of the bright side of things. It's 7 before the hour on the Watchdog Morning Show.
Denny
is here. Good morning, Denny.
Hey, Howard, I just wanted to tell you, in Akron, they are fining anybody that has more than 6 people at their house for Thanksgiving $250. It was passed by their city council, and they're also encouraging neighbors to call in and tell on them.
Whoa. Listen, I'm all in favor of, limiting gatherings and so on, but it seems to me the decision for what you do in your own house ought to be left alone to you. I get a little upset with these people who claim that everything is, my personal liberty, but I think there's a point at which it does kick in. I think your own house.
Now, my question is, they'll let the University of Akron play football and have 4,000 or 5,000 people there, and not a thing is said. Why does football rule everything? It should
rule everything.
About
that. There's no question about that. And you've heard me say over and over again, Denny, my issue is consistency. If we're not going to let high school kids play football, for example, then we shouldn't be letting the university play. We shouldn't be letting gyms have people in all day long and stuff. I mean, if we're going to crack down. But I had not heard that about Akron. That's what
I wanted to call and let you know. We have family that lives up there, and that's what they said, that they're $250 fine if they find out you have more than 6 people, and they're encouraging neighbors to squeal on you, which I think is completely wrong. But I just wanted to let you know that's what's going on there. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Denny. Thanks. Listen, I think you do. There is a limit. I don't think people should be bringing a big family gathering the way it used to be this year. But those decisions are yours to make, and if you feel comfortable, I don't like it. If you think you're actually taking a risk, if you really feel like, well, maybe we'll get it, maybe we won't, but we'll take that risk, I don't like that. But if you feel comfortable that you're with a group of people that are going to be COVID-free, maybe they've already been tested. A lot of people got tests ahead of Thanksgiving specifically to be able to go visit people. Or if you just feel that folks you've been with have been, fairly good about it, that's when and I really hate the idea. I got to look into that. I can't believe they're actually encouraging people to rat out their neighbors. But it's 2020. Howard, what about this? If this is someone's last Thanksgiving, then you'll feel real bad about seeing them. Well, that's true. I mean, that's my point. Is that hopefully it's not anybody's last Thanksgiving, but you never can tell. Let's see. Howie, this is from previously, I think. Just give Teddy some markers, let him draw on your walls. He'll forget about the tree. That's been years ago. You people will never let me forget the day I let him draw on the door. And, of course, I drew with him. And then trouble ensued.
For both.
Yeah, for everybody. Not so much for him, because he said, well, Granddaddy told me to do it. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. All right.
So he turned you in.
Well, I don't think he was turning me in per se. He was just being honest. Well, Granddaddy said I could. Shh, don't say that, boy. Actually, that was several years ago. He and I have got a pretty good thing going these days. He'll say, do we tell Grandma about this? No, we don't, Teddy. No. This is what, we won't tell Grandma. This is one of those things where we don't tell Grandma.
That happens with kids. Trust me. That happened one time, and we told Mom, "Don't tell Grandma whatever you do." And they immediately, both of them, looked back at him and pointed, "Don't tell Grandma." He said, "Okay," because they knew they could trust me. It was him that they were worried about.
They weren't too sure about.
They weren't too sure about, but he caught on real quick after that day. So he'd look at me and he'd go, "Do we tell Grandma?" I go, "No, buddy, we don't tell Grandma that one. That stays with us." Then I had to
It's one of those things we just keep between ourselves.
Right. You have that conversation with them.
He's reached that point. Teddy's reached that point now where he, he'll ask me, "Is this something we tell Grandma?" No, of course not. No. I broke a lamp, Granddad. Do I tell her? No. We'll hide it. We'll try to hide it, and hopefully nobody will find it. All right, tomorrow on the show, we're going to take a look at the Cardiovascular Institute at Wheeling Hospital with the medical director from Wheeling Hospital, Dr. Campsey. Also tomorrow, we will bring in our buddy Tom Squitieri because it's a Tuesday, and we'll talk about all this election falderall that's happening in the nation's capital. And maybe Isaac Spahn, I'll go talking about residency of the governor, depending whether Isaac, I don't know if he bagged something today or not. He's up on top of the hill during his hunting. But for now, it's time for me to say sayonara, see you, bye-bye, farewell. I got to go. I got to get out of here. Good Lord willing, creeks don't rise, bat phone doesn't ring, don't get impeached, don't retire, ticker keeps on ticking, and Teddy says it's okay, you can go back to work tomorrow. Granddad, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, when the go around the big gig. Are you back with me, Biff?
I'm back for a Tuesday.
We'll keep on doing it until we get it right.
That could be a long time.
Indeed.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
We plan to begin supplying.
I definitely need to figure out how to set this clock. I've got an automatic clock here, but it's just at 10 o'clock right now, and I'm obviously way behind time. Yeah. My wall clock, which is a sweep hand, is at 40, and my digital clock is at 20, or I mean, not 20, but 10 o'clock, 10 seconds. So I got to figure out how to get it working again. I'll do that eventually. All right, we've got a few things already set for tomorrow. Other things may happen. We'll see. Anything you need from me, give me a call. I plan to be around, probably getting a Christmas tree out of the basement. And we'll see what happens the rest of the day. But if you need me, give me a call. Otherwise, as always, I do appreciate your help. Made it a pretty good show today, so at least I think so. Yep, I thought so. All right, talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
And masks will be required. But this comes as the CDC is telling Americans to not gather with family and friends during the upcoming holidays. The Surgeon General, Dr. Jerome Adams, was asked on Good Morning America what kind of message that sends. At first, he dodged the question, but when pushed, he said,
"We want everyone to understand that these holiday celebrations can be super spreader events."
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
In addition to the expected nomination of Anthony Blinken as the Secretary of State,